This is a random 4 versus 4 custom game. And let's see how these guys are going to get on. Rightio. So, first off, we'll do our usual team swappy, sorty stuff up there. Get rid of that, it's just in the way. Random map. We have a left versus right. Team 1 on the left, team 2 on the right hand side. Reclaim, as far as we're concerned, is 40,000 all over the place. Huge amounts. Well, it looked like huge amounts for a moment. In fact, there is still quite a bit up here. There's like 4,000 in this top corner to grab. 4,000-ish? Yeah, to grab. That's going to be into the coffers of whoever's closest to that. And then otherwise just sort of spread around in front and behind. Got a bundle here, got a bunch here by these rocks. So some nice equi and starting locations to help out. But let's have an introduction of the players. Let's see who we have. First up, for team number 1 over here on the far left hand side at the top corner in purple, it is Omni Heaven. Yeah, there's a few ANZ guys in here. I've played games with most of the guys in the list here. They're all a bunch of good blokes. They're all good players. Anyway, Omni is here. He has gone Aeon in the purple. Down from him in the green color, it is Ninrai. Ninrai is UEF, as mentioned, in green. He's getting some assistance down there. There's no hydros. So you see they're working on some power, and that's actually going to help building the mass extractor, get the power either side of it, and it's going to reduce the power cost thanks to that. So he's got a -1 for usage. Right. Just down from Ninrai in the yellow color, we have a Seraphim player, and it is Matri. It's the real Matri, and he is getting some more PGs down as needed on this because there's no help there. And then further down, finally, for team number 1, right at the bottom, player number 4, it is Desert Wolf, and he has gone Aeon. So no Cybran representation for team number 1. We got 2 Aeons, 1 UEF, and a single Seraphim, and they are getting on. Right. So let's have a look at team number 2 then. First off, team number 2 on the bottom right hand side, it is Quasar. Quasar is bright pink, he's Aeon, and he's walking his way towards the reclaim, I would presume, by the look of that. Nope, he's going all the way to the front. All the way up here. He wants to grab the hydro. That's what the hydros are, all the frick out the front there. Just up from him in the lavender color, it is Fergus 1080. Fergus trying to make himself in the high definition. I don't think anybody wants to see that, but that's beside the point. He is Seraphim in lavender, no dramas there. And checking up from above from him in burgundy, it is Soviet Pride. Soviet Pride has got himself there in UEF colors, and he is working on a second factory, so quite happy with his current energy income and is working his way towards there. Finally, for team number 1, all the way at the top in the orange color as Seraphim, it is Stack. So no Cybrans for team number 2 either. We have a pair of Seraphim, 1 UEF and 1 Aeon. So no Cybran on this map at all. So we know what we're not going to see. We're not going to see stealthy. We're not going to see bombs. We're not going to see those annoying rubber missile launchers that attack split. We're not going to see telemazes. And we're not going to see monkeys. So no early experimentals. Perhaps they'll be built a little bit later on. But either way, no Cybran. Interesting faction there. So we have some civilian buildings in the middle here. There's no point defense. They're all just neutral. There's some rocks, or trees, sorry, clumped in the middle of those. They can be reclaimed. The buildings also can be pulled away. And you can see they have got a bit of regen to them, amusingly. 5 health per second if they get damaged. So I found them setting. And we can actually see that for all units now. So if we hover over Stick here, he has a 10 health per second regen going on there. So we'll be able to keep those stats alive as well. Right, I've got some early, I wouldn't say aggression maybe from Omni. Certainly seeing some units out. He's got an Aurora there, of course, being Aeon. He needs to have these scouts with it so we can actually see what the heck he wants to shoot at. As is tradition, Auroras can see further than they can shoot. It's kind of the deal with most Aeon units actually. Their vision radius is a lot shorter compared to their firing radius, so it's not going to know what the heck is going on until things get right anyway. The question is, can Soviet Pride see that with here? Nope. That Aurora is going to sneak right on by. Not been noticed at all. Alrighty. And there we go. Scout Spirit haven't gone there. I hear first kill or stick up the top. Commander has killed off something, anything. I think it was probably a scout, but here we go. There's an engineer of this direction from Soviet that will be under threat because there is the Aurora coming. Engineer turns around, goes for the reclaim, gets set off really, really quickly, and the engineer just simply wins that battle outright. The Aurora turns up and maybe in visual range there. It is finally seen it, starts moving towards it. Yeah, it's going to be an engineer kill. be able to stop that. It's trying to get a build down to stop this from getting to the engineer, but it does not work. And it's going to keep rocking on down towards the second engineer here. And maybe pick yourself up a second kill, depends on where those tanks are going. Oh, they're going the wrong way, and it's actually going to reach here. Say hello, Engie. Another reclaim order, that's not going to work though. Third reclaim order, it might actually lose this. It does indeed. Just. One shot short, still a couple of engineer kills for that Aurora. Don't know if it was worth it, but it certainly slowed Soviet down a little bit from getting to these mixes here. Alright, up this direction, just the 1 versus 1, and the Aurora is going to lose that every day. Once it gets close, it is doomed against any other T1 tank or what kind of thing. And down the bottom, what we've got here, we have in the middle, it has been Fergus getting a reclaim on these buildings here. We just want to see how much these actually had to them. 85, it's not nothing. So it's still something, and we've got the same thing going on up here. We see Minora is grabbing all those ones, and in the other edges, not yet touched. That's okay, so it's probably about a 6, 8, 9 items there, so you're still looking at about 500 mass or so from reclaiming all of those, so it's not bad. It's not something you want to lose out on, but it's not as critical to the thing. We have a spirit tickling away at a Tham. Take forever to kill that thing. Curiously, I once saw a game that was basically modded, and the only thing you could build was scouts. It was a scout war. No mods, like no weapon mods or anything like that. It was just the game was restricted to scouts. No air, no tech, just scouts. Anyway, in the middle we have our first proper little skirmish, and these are a bunch of units coming up there from Matry. They did engage with Fergus's items there. They looked like they might pull back, so I said nope, not good enough, I'm going to push on in. And push on in, they do, they win the battle, and they're going to kill off the mass extractor as well. Bit of a problem there. It's a random NG floating around though. It can decide to tidy things up, come back and rebuild, but even command is there as well, so that's going to be fine for Fergus. He can just go up there and rebuild that as he wants. Things are looking a wee bit skewed though. We have units here from Desert Wolf pushing up on Quasar, and units here from Matry also pushing on Quasar. He's actually doubling up and going for Fergus as well, so he's pushing up this way. It's almost looking like it is all on an angle. Up this direction, Steck is... He's got Auroras on his doorsteps. Interesting. So he's got some kind of naming mod. So that's an Aurora, that's got a name. So as soon as they get a rank of veterancy, they get a name. Interesting little convention there. So all of these will have no names whatsoever, but as soon as a unit gets rank of veterancy, he gets a name. Interesting little force on there. Okay, down this direction, see Fergus is trying to shoo away the units belonging to Matry. Needs to keep those at bay. Doesn't want to... Well, that basically is his opponent, but he's up here as well. Matry has split his forces and is harassing Fergus on both sides. Fergus is trying to respond in one direction and gets picked off going down the other. A couple of bombers out from Soviet. What are they going for? Who knows? There's an anti-air in the way though. Might get this first one down, may not. In fact, it looks like it's actually going to get away. There's some more anti-air in this group though. That bomb's going to get nothing done. It's going to get shot down before dropping a single bomb. No good. This one does get some bombs away and kills off a scout. Damages a bunch of units there, and the corpse crashes into another striker. So a bit of damage, but probably not worth it. Now we've got some more fighting going on down here. Small force from Matry drawing the units of Fergus down that way. Soviet being harassing with some T1 bombs on the front line, trying to keep things interesting. Up this direction it is Stack, and he is looking... Well, he's got a gun com, so he's alright. Yeah, alright Acid. Is this Foodman? Yes, Foodman, I am alright. It's Friday. It's good. He does have gun com, of course. He does have these units as backup, so he should be okay. He could maybe take on that force there with the support easily. Upgrade going down for Omni. He's actually got sensors and going T2 on his comms, so that's going to be interesting. Those bombs are still doing their thing, but they're getting shot down. And over here, Matry has managed to crack through this little spot here. Or maybe not. He's decided to pull back. And now, Quasar has a double gun Aeon com. Sorry, Aeon double gun com, and he can help plug that gap, although If he does, he's going to give up ground to Desert Wolf, and he cannot afford to do that right now. Desert Wolf knocking on his doorstep, and it seems weird. It kind of looks like these two guys, Matry and Desert Wolf, are managing to tie up 3 players from team 2, 1, 2, no 3. No, my brain is not working. My brain is absolutely not working. It is, sorry, still 2v2. Oh, sorry, that's just been like me going doy and just totally losing what I'm doing. There's got to be something going on here. It is stick up the top. His gun column is having a grand old time killing off units at will. Just needs to keep moving around a little bit and dodging tad. These Auroras are nice and easy targets. Get him a couple of shots, they die. And as long as he doesn't get too overwhelmed, he will be alright. In the middle though, it is... Well, we've got a bunch of Ninrai stuff here, staring down a bunch of Soviet stuff over this way. Soviet doesn't have a lot on the ground at the moment, although he does have T2, so he's gone for a bit of a rush towards T2 units, got some pillars rocking on out, and as long as they keep their move on, they'll be alright. They won't get hit by the T1 RD, they can clean up the T1 in a decent fashion. Look at that, 3 shots to kill a tank. That's pretty nasty. Over here, there's an upgrade trying to go down for Fergus. He wants to get T2, maybe to put down some kind of point defense to slow that down. The engineers have slapped up a T1 PD here by Matry. They want to try and keep that alive and do an area denial because, well, they could take it out, but they're a little distracted by Ninrai's forces over there. This direction we have T2 on the ground. That is from Ninrai as well. He's got a triad. He's going to just kill off all of this basically. Going to take a while to kill the T1 PD because it keeps missing. It's not missing anymore, and that is actually going to be a very dead old unit. So Matry putting pressure on Fergus over here, who has a T2 PD up. That's going to help him out a lot. Down the bottom here, it is actually Desert Wolf with a shielded gun com compared to the unshielded Quasar. Quasar needs to get out of range of that, and he does. That might have been a bit of a missed trick for Desert Wolf. If he managed to keep in range of Quasar, he could have done some decent damage there, but no, he isn't, and he's falling on back. And also down the bottom, Desert Wolf, he has broken through, and Quasar has problems on the south end, getting absolutely rampaged over there. Have a quick check up the top area, and we have T2 on the ground here for Omni versus T1 for Stack. Not much in the way of T2, there's just a shield in there to just give him a bit of longevity, I suppose, a bit of extra health. Up this direction, it is Dick trying to do what he can with his comm. He's got a gun comm, of course. He's woefully outnumbered right here, though. And he's no longer going to be able to push into that. There's a third T2 PD going up from Omnihaven. And that's going to be a denial that his comm really can't afford to push right now. Alright, checking back down the bottom right-hand side. And there are just units after units, and they are slamming the eco that belongs to Quasar. He needs to get a handle on this before he loses that bottom section. Trying to send in some units, get them in bit by bits is not most ideal, but it is Aeon on Aeon at least. And there's more units from Desert and more coming in all the time. Even as he's pushing down, we're getting a double push on this side. Matry has joined in on the Quasar stomping, sending in his units as well. And as Fergus is a wee bit off the mark there, his units are not in range to help out, and Quasar is not looking particularly healthy. If we can get this up, it would be a huge help, which he does. He's already got another one back there, and these can now start wreaking havoc upon these approaching units. Quasar should be alright from here, although we have Desert Wolf pushing up with his commander, and with the units supporting him, it's going to be a chunky comp to try and take out. The point defense ain't going to last too long against all of this, and Quasar, well, Quasar needs to pull back, or he's a dead man. You cannot face that commander right now. Plenty of units here from Fergus that could push down. They could cut Desert Wolf off, but he decides that maybe he doesn't want to push that. And here comes the cut now. And Desert Wolf drops on back. The bottom corner, well, that has been wrecked by Fergus. Plenty of units on down here. The factories are going down. The T1 RD is doing its job. And there's just not enough on the ground from Quasar to repel that. He's been shuffled back into a little wee corner here. And problems abound. I hear Titans, I do. Soviet Pride, he has just skipped the early stages and gone straight tech. Got a couple of Titans out, he's got a bunch of pillars, he's got some flag. And they are now ready to just storm on through. Quasar, there we go. As unfortunately expected, Quasar was very low on health. He had to try and do something, but he was just overwhelmed by Fergus, and going comm on comm wasn't so good. Oh, some gunships. No, don't land, don't land, don't land, don't land. those being handed over at a very bad time. But now they're back in the air and they're starting to pop their fire down on Desert Wolf. Desert Wolf has a couple of racks of veterancy. He's got some ground support with him, there's some anti-air in the mix there, but units all over the place. Fergus has surrounded him, but he's running out of units. The gunships are doing what they can, but in comes an air wing from Matry that is going to clean up those gunships nice and handily. The AA on the ground are going to do the same thing, and there's not going to be enough to take Desert Wolf out there. He's going to be able to get out of there, no problems. 6,000 health, plenty of regen. The shield is also coming back online, and he is not going to have any problems today. But speaking of problems, still issues down the bottom corner. Desert Wolf continuing to push for those T1 units down there, keeping that area cleared, and even then Matry's units which come to support Desert. Yeah, they've got no resistance, so they are now heading into the main base belonging to Fergus, and he is not happy. No way he can be happy with that. Although he has made a trip to Tech 2 himself, and there's a few Ushivas coming out. That will be very, very handy for stopping this T1 little spam here. And T2 also coming up the direction from Soviet. That was actually Quasil's T2. He's got a bunch of Obsidians. Obsidians he would have loved to have had with his commander while he was taken on Desert Wolf, but it is what it is. And what it is everything is dead. Right, so those Titans in the middle, well, are they the same ones? 1 kill, 2 kills, 2 kills, what now? That's a new band of Titans. The other ones are... Where are the other ones? They're up here. 19 kills and 15 kills. Here we are. I was wondering where those Titans got to. They're all up the top left hand corner and they have been running amok, killing everything they can, and look at that. They're focusing on the eco. They're getting hit by Obsidian, standing still as the T1 AD comes down, but yep, they just want to kill off the mixers. They have been prioritized, all of those, and they're going to do it too. 1, 2, 3, 4 T2 mixers dead there. Titans are going to die as well, unfortunately, but they have made a great accounting of themselves. This one's going to survive a little bit longer, actually. There we go. It's going to start hitting the factory too now, because hey, why not? The factory's there. T1 bomber overhead, but that should be fine. It's going to miss that. Alright, over this direction we have T2 Vulthu gunships, and they're going for Fergus. Fergus is now under pressure because along comes Desert Wolf, along comes units from Matry. Gunships overhead trying their best to keep things down. They are Vulthus. I think they're some of the lowest as far as DPS goes for gunships, but there's enough of them. They're kind of annoying. And what kind of air is there? Well, here we go. Here's an air wing coming in from Soviet Pride. That should help out quite a bit. Unless they fly straight on past into a whale of flag. That's a terrible thing for them to do. They're just not shooting. Flag does come out though from Fergus to help his combat, and that's going to be the gunships getting popped out of the sky, so that's going to keep him alive just a little bit longer. 4,000 health, the units are swooshed in from Matry to take out the point defense. Desert Wolf also pushing up with his commander, very healthy at the moment. Nice shield on that, nice ranks of veterancy, got plenty of regen, and he has extra shields and flak over his head. He should be fine from a certain amount of danger. We want to check back up on some other directions, and more Titans in the middle. This is been from Soviet Pride. These Titans are just wandering around, roaming, being annoying. They're killing off what they can. Of course, some Ushivas do cause some problems, some worst T2 unit they could face. But we have more Titans up all and behind. These two are running off as another pack comes through the fore, and these guys, what have they got stopped? Well, there's some counter Titans coming out from the right. He's like, okay, you want to go T3? I'll go T3. Let's do this. And now these guys having to go at each other. Titans are going to win. Nice and easy. When it's Titans versus Titans, Titans always win. Just saying. Right, I'm hearing gunfire, and that is from Steck. So Steck is rather tired of the little bit of PD creep that Omni's doing. His commander is well upgraded, plenty of regen on that guy. 86 health per second at 1 rank of veterancy. Gets another one who'll be ranked great for anything. Moving into range of the shield. I think he wanted to try and shoot it from inside, but it didn't work, and now he has to fall back due to the on-rushing units belonging to Omni. But he can kill off everything here. Strangely, his comms focusing on that. There we go, shield down. And point defense is going to go down next. He will be fine for a while. Down this direction though, it is a counter push from Fergus. Got some Ushivas out. They're going to look at trying to take out this mostly T1 army. A little bit of T2 in there, but these are Ushivas. And if these get sent in bit by bit, the Ushis are going to have a grand old time killing them off. They really needed to try and come in a lot more in bulk, I guess one could say. But they are in range, going to do things, but this Ush was going to have a grand old day picking those off. Good evening, Altizen. In the middle, we see Ushva's having a grand... Oh, they're trying to kill a T1 PD and they're doing a great job, but I wonder if it'd be a different story with the extra walls around it. One day I'll test that. One day. Today's not that day. Spearheads. So Soviet Pride sticking to the T3 and spearheads are out, and those are very nasty. At anything that's sitting still, they'll do a ton of damage. More Titans up in the middle here. They run into a Harbinger plus a bunch of Obsidians. It's not going to be great for the health. The Harbinger does go down. There's still a fair amount of T1 and T2 on the ground that could cause some problems. We check back up the top here, and Steck now has 2 ranks of veterancy. Got himself 92 health regen, and he can push forward with that commander plus the units around him. Should be able to take these out quite happily. There we go. That is all happening. Overcharges rocking on in, and Ushib is just turning those into scrap basically. Coming in from Omni, he's got a Harbinger and a couple of Obsidians in that mix. But, you know, no overcharge from this guy, and that is the end of those high value units. Here's one, boom. Overcharge, goodbye Harbinger. So a good little push there from Deck, but even as he's pushing up, we have Omni countering back down this way with his units, but the Titans from Soviet Pride are alert, and they are moving. They are repelling this quite easily. So much T1 in that mix. A couple of spearheads still sitting in the middle. They haven't really moved. There we go. Tech missiles coming out from Ninrai. He's got tech launcher on his comm, and he is starting to pick off resourcing options. Let's just go and kill off all of this, shall we? All these mass extractors, they can just all die. Although there's a TMD there, that's going to stop anything further from happening. They have been slapped up around the place, so no more. Although I think he used one of those missiles to kill the spearhead. An interesting choice, but it is a choice he's made. Alright, Titans have pushed Omni all the way back over here. And they have cleaned up this little midsection. Relieve some of the pressure on Steck, who needs to be careful because there's a bunch of Harbingers in this group over here. And while he does have a nice healthy gun comm, with 3 ranks of veterancy and nigh on 100 regen per second, that's still a dangerous amount of units to take on. He has got a supporting army back here which could be very, very handy. Down the bottom, and things have kind of stabilized. The Soviet took over this base here. He has started producing units out of that. He's got that up to T3, and he's moved this line back and kept a hold of this bottom section. Though he hasn't rebuilt any of that or grabbed any of this mass field. There is 3,000 mass sitting here waiting to be scooped up. He's got an engineer in the region. He's got a couple of engineers actually. They could do well to look at having a go at all of this. Right. Poor Harbinger. No air support, and there's a bunch of gunships. They're going to do extra damage to that guy. Nothing they can do about it. Gets popped out of the sky, and now these Obsidians are the caught between a rock in the form of gunships in a hard place and form this giant swarm of units belonging to Matry. These Obsidians are basically done for. Out comes the small air wing from Soviet. They're going to look to clean up those Spectres. The problem is there's flak. I thought I saw flak. I apologise. I did not see flak. There's only T1. Oh, there's flak. It's up there. And the air wing is not going to be long for this. We're trying to fight over that flak. It's only T1. Some more Harpies down there to make them not going to be able to repel that magnitude of attack. There'll be too much on the ground for a pair of Harbingers to do much. They're going to have to fall back, I would think. Maybe run all the way back here to some more defensive lines. Checking out over the rest of the map, and in the middle again, Soviet pushing with a huge amount of Titans, and there's a transport with another pair of Titans on it. Does fly over some flak but gets on through, but in comes the T1 interceptors and it's down. That was a pair of Harbingers. That's a costly loss. 2 Harbingers and a T2 transport. Mind you, if it had have reached the back lines and actually landed, it could have done a huge amount of damage. These Harbingers can take things out pretty darn quickly. In this direction, Steck is obviously having power issues. That shield is blinking on and off, and he's trying to rush up T2 BG. Desperately needs that to try and hold. In his base, we see there is T3 land available, and working on T3 power there as well. Oh, excuse me, hiccups. Where they come from, but as predicted, this bottom section is just donezo. I'm just trying to do a retreating combat action, but there's just too many units chasing them down. Got some Ilshivers, T1 units, and they're going to go pop out of there. Now the Harveys have to make a stand. They can't keep falling back in the face of all of this. Maybe they could drop under the shield and that might help. But there's T1 artillery, there's Ilshivers. They can get a move on, be twisting, turning, and trying to do what they can. More Harbingers rolling off the production line. Definitely need those. Some T2 PD here is going to join in the fun, and that will finally blow that push down. A little bit of lack of coordination there. Desert's units are coming in after Metri's units are pretty much already dead. If they come in at the same time, that could have been a completely different story. It could have been a complete overrun, but as it is, it has given the Harbingers a chance to stabilise, given a chance for reinforcements from Fergus. He's got some Ilshivers of his own, and now that is all basically turning into a mass donation. They have pushed them all the way back up here though. There used to be a kind of a line down this direction, so some territory gained but not controlled by Desert. And I see what I see. I saw that. Sniper bots. Coming out from Matry, those annoying sniper bots. Throw them under some shields and they are very difficult to kill without some kind of really fast pushing ground response, and they can do a ton of damage before things get in range. If you're microing these well, they are so difficult to deal with. In the middle we see Soviets just rocking back with some of these Harveys. Does not want to push these, Titans. Doesn't want to push this at the moment. Thinks it could be just a bit of a donation. Up in the top section we can see advanced nano repair going down for stack. So he's actually going to be even chunkier. 98 per second regen is going to change to 238. That's a lot of regen. The only thing that can make that chunky in more combat is doing the splash gun damage, but he probably can't afford to do that right now, owing to the fact there's sniper bots he has to run away from, unfortunately. Soviet moving into the middle just wants to plug this kind of gap and make it his own. Down the bottom he has done a forward back there, but that is a strat. Runs over a bouncer though. Sorry, Redeemer. Is the Redeemer even shooting at it? I don't see any missiles launch. That's strange. That's very, very strange. TT should have been thrown up as fast as humanly possible. Some ASFs did come down. They're looking to try and kill the strat. There it goes. Gets picked off as it comes back on map, and the corpse lands in a very advantageous position. They can just reclaim that and turn the T2 mix back into a T2 mix. Alright, more sniper bots, and they're running into a fairly sizable mass of them now. How many we got? 9 sniper bots, and they can just pick off stuff like this very, very quickly. And sniper bots are not to be ignored. You let them build up to critical mass and they will just wreck stuff. One up here as well from Omni, just the one though, not too much doing. There is an upgrade going down for Stick, and that is the, regen aura. So he's looking to support his units and get their health going on up. Normally they would have no regen whatsoever, but thanks to the commander's regen aura, they actually do have some regen now. These Ilshivers are getting 15 per second instead of 0. The T3s are getting 25 per second. And T1 units, I'm sure there's some in there somewhere, are getting 5 per second. So the regen aura provides 5, 15 and 25 regen for your tech units. The second regen aura gives you more, I'd say, 15, 27 and 52 regen. So that regen aura is actually pretty darn handy. If you can keep do skirmishes with your units, they'll be able to regen quite happily. In the middle, a massive push in from Soviet Pride. I don't think he quite knew what he was walking into. There's a lot of shields there and a lot of Harbingers. Doesn't really want to be looking at that. And you have a look at this. He's already got engineers doing reclaim. So that was a planned engage. Meaning even if he lost units right there, these engineers that are on a reclaim order like this, they're going to slurp a lot of the mass back right away. It's actually quite an interesting idea. Alright, back in the middle, and this area is just done. Sniper bots have done as sniper bots do, and this entire section has been turned up. It was a little wee kind of fire-based position. There was a shield, there was some T2PD, there was some arty, a couple of shields, but coming through, those sniper bots have just made absolute mockery of all of that. How many has he got there now? 12. And each of these things does, what is it? 580 damage. DPS of 150. It's got 2 of them. Something? Still, just the range and sheer output of those. Every volley from these guys is doing like, 6,000 plus damage. Kind of hard to predict against. Checking back up the top, and there's been a push up behind Stick. Stick's commander is up here. He's got problems. There's a strat overhead. He doesn't want that to do much more on there, but here's the push up the top. He cannot afford to lose what's going on up here. Massive units, but here comes Soviet with some Titans. He's rocking and sweeping up behind these forces from Omni, helping to clean the place up. Gonna have an Otham that's about to die. But this area will most likely take a lot of punishment. Could have taken a lot of punishment. That shield has done absolute wonders. Now it goes down, and the units are free to shoot at whatever they want, but there's not much left to shoot at. Sorry, not much left of them to shoot. Killed off a few things, but really, looks like it was mostly just the shield gen and a few engineers. But aside from that, that is thanks to Soviet Pride's very timely support. Not much more has died. Back this direction, we see Stick is... what happened to that bomber? No, it was a strat somewhere. Is it this one? Maybe it was a different one. He's got some lightning tanks with him though. They're going to be very handy at anti-air. And he's built an experimental. Well, we know what that's going to be. He is, after all, Seraphim. And indeed, here it is, the big stompy chicken. So that's what Stick has been doing. He's been working on that side of thing. Let's check out everything else on the other side. Anybody else doing an experimental? Well, not down here. Desert Wolf is firmly in the T3 game though. Rocking out those. T3 air from Matry. No experimentals on the ground from him. It's all just about the sniper bots at the moment. We have a Fatboy has been started by Nint, right? But he's rocking out some Percivals instead. T4 nuke was called. That's a Fatboy actually just about done for Omni. It's going to be a very handy tool against a chicken. And also these Titans would be a very handy tool against the chicken. Percivals would be better, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. He has an army and he should use it. Where's Stompy Chicken? All the way back there. Okay, it's going to take a while to get to the front. And yeah, Fatboy's going to get done. It's going to be able to support. Once again, we have the Titans doing Titany things and sort of sweeping around the place. Checking down the bottom side, and Matry is doing a slow but inexorable advance forwards. And just look at the amount of sniper bot fire coming out there. We see Fergus is trying to get some of his own to counter, but nothing doing. The total amount and the shield gens over Matry's forces, plus the Ilchevers out the front, taking up more damage, and it is a big old problem for Fergus. He does not have enough on the ground to repel this. His base is just getting picked away. There is a T2 ID up here that's lobbing the occasional shell down this way, but all Matry has to do is fall back and let the sniper bots do their thing. And they are doing their thing. Everything around here is collapsing into rubble as they just basically scrap stuff up. But hello, Fatboy coming down from Soviet Pride. That got built a short time ago, and is he having power issues? He's trying to build another T3 PG as we speak. That will be very helpful. For the Fatboy, that's going to be a very welcome sight against this massive force. Let's look at them all. The Fatboy in the background is just like making its way down, and any moment now we're going to see those turrets turn and it's going to light up. Here comes the fire in the rain. And Fatboy is doing as Fatboy does, bombarding from long range, carving up groups of units. It may want to focus on these instead. In fact, it does. And the gunfire is coming through, and that's not what you want to happen to your sniper bots. They cannot absorb that. The shields drop and the sniper bots just fall. There used to be like 12 of these, and there are not 12 anymore. They have been decimated. One Fatboy has turned those into absolute scrap, and that is a huge win there, killing off all of those. But still having problems is Fergus. He has a ton of Ilchevers coming towards his base. Question is, what has he got to repel them? Well, he's got a gun com. Nope, he's got a T2 com. And he's got some... Oh, he doesn't have much there. I thought maybe he had some T3 tanks, but no, he's got T3 arting instead. I guess he was trying to counter the sniper boss, but a nuke was called by somebody. Yes, it is. So there's a nuke going up for Steck. He's going to need to do things. Soviet pops out another Fatboy. That was pretty damn quick. And he is having a good time, but the Ilshivers from Matry, they're falling back. Maybe they're heading down this way. I want to take out this little small base. And why not? If they can get there and kill off the Eco, that'd be grand. I think he feels like he couldn't quite push this position with what he had. I reckon he could have. Although he would have been getting shot on the back the entire time by the Fatboy. And now Titans are catching up to the Ilshivers, but slowly, bit by bit. Just have a look at what happens to Titans against Ilshis. It's actually not pretty. 1 versus 1 is a much closer fight, but when the Titans come in and run into Ilshis en masse one by one, they just get absolutely face wrecked. And Ilshivers are now into the base belonging to Soviet down here. He's trying to put up some T1 PD in a rush, but the Ilshivers are having absolutely none of that, trying to kill off the engineers first. T1 PD is up, of course, and the Fatboy is lobbing its shells down as well, but I think there's probably too little too late if they turn around and focus on something that could kill it off very quickly. But I think Matry has just sent them down in a whirlwind of Ilshiver fire. There goes the kill order on the T3 factory. Get that down and it will be no more harbingers for Soviet. At least until he rebuilds it from other engineers belonging to, what they call that, he won't have any. And indeed, the Aeon factories are down for Soviet unless he has... Oh, he does. I was about to say, unless he has some other Aeon engineers, he won't have access to Aeon tech anymore. He'll be restricted to the UEF. But just have a quick look at the map, and this is very much in control of team number 1. You see Desert Wolf is pushed all the way up here with Harbingers. You see these units that were from Matry, they have carved a path through this, and resistance coming out from Fergus now. The Fatboy is holding an area down here from Soviet, and up the top it has been Steck pushing this way, but he has been hit by a Fatboy, but the Fatboy is getting hit back. T2 Arty up here lobbing his shells on over, and Fatboy's shields are down. Perhaps it can go down a bit further as it rocks back on forwards. No, yes, no, that's going to be close. Ooh, just protected by some shielding there, but the shielding isn't going to last long. Next T2 shell lands. That is one very unhappy looking Fatboy. One more shell lands by and it's going to be dead. T2 Arty here is going to get any more shots off. No, nope, nothing doing. And the Fatboy lives with 2,500 health. It can now dominate this section. There is, of course, Yathota still loitering around. We see Stick with his comm is very healthy, very happy. And of course the regen is helping out. It's given the Yathota 260 regen. So all these units are going to be getting health back at a massive rate thanks to Stick's comm. And there's some point defense back here. The chicken is going to absolutely obliterate these Titans, throwing the T3 siege tanks as well. And this was a rather costly push. But we still have the Fatboy, we still have some Harbingers up here from Omni. Everything needs to push on there. Now comes that Ball of Doom, smacks into a Percival. Percival goes pop. The armor fire comes in, pops another Percival there. Ball of Doom lands on basically nothing. Fatboy's having a grand old time at the moment, just picking up units at range. It needs to do that. Fire support is incredibly handy to any engagement. Just can send those shells in and wither. Of these things just really needs to push them down a bit and make it a bit harder. Just any damage is good basically. And if you're at range it's even better. But counter Fatboy coming out from Soviet, and this is lobbing its shells back in this direction. Fatboy from Omni needs to be careful, although this currently Soviet's Fatboy is focusing on the forces belonging to Minrai and doing a good job of hammering those two. So it's Fatboy and Fatboy able to have a good go at each other there. Which is who's going to collapse first. Checking back down the middle, more Ilshivers rocked out from Matry. They are doing Ilshiver things once again. Pushing on through, looking to try and make a gap. Some more sniper bots back here. Snipers, Ilshivers, T3 shields, and T3 anti-air. Let's use a sniff, and that is going to be Matry pushing on through, taking out all of that. But now we have some Ravagers up there from the Soviet, just the one actually. Just sort of plonked here and there to help dispel things. Push on these sniper bots from Fergus, trying to take care of those. as well as some T3 artillery standing overhead with some siege tanks. The Matry have turned up and they are going to clean up the Ultra's nice heavy smart. I think he's trying to focus down these sniper bots because they have been doing a lot of damage, but he has lost that advantage, checking back up to the top, and well, the Fatboy is still loitering around. Omni. So that's something obviously got built and given to him since he's you know, not UEF, but there's still a chicken in the mix there. And there's still a commander up the front. No T2 arty. Oh, there's some here. They'll probably start shooting at that Fatboy once he gets closer. Although maybe Stick wants to think about pulling these units back to draw it in a little bit more. Matry's units have pushed right up this way, and if they can find an item to focus against, they might get some success. Not Soviet's comedy is too chunky for them to kill, but they can maybe kill off something else. Not going to get much done though without target prioritization. They just get gradually picked off. Down this direction, still got the Fatboy from Soviet holding this area. Doesn't want things to get too close, and a lot of harbingers and T2 artillery here from Desert Wolf, so he knows about the Fatboy threat and he wants to keep it at distance. So this is a nasty firebase for a Fatboy to try and rush up in the top section. And yeah, T2 arty is in play from Stick as well, so Fatboys usually lead towards T2 arty. T2 arty is a solid counter against Fatboy. I just wonder what the equivalence is of mass for construction. I have to have a quick look at Soviet. Maybe somebody who can make one. Fatboy costs 28,000 mass. T2 artillery costs 2,000. So for the price of one Fatboy, you can make 14 T2 arty. And that would probably win. Maybe even a single volley. Good evening, Husky. Nice to see you. How you doing? But here we go. Fatboy is right here, and the question is, when is it going to be used? When is it going to happen? Is there going to be some support coming in? Is going to be some kind of air support, perhaps? Something, anything? But at the moment, it is the Soviet show. He has 3 Fatboys roaming around the field. This one got a bit caught out. Looks like it got too close to the T2 arty down there, and you can see the shields are absolutely gone. That guy. Fatboy over here is supported by a lot of units. 2 Fatboys converging together from Soviet, and they can start lobbing shells back. Do they not have radar? Must have, surely. He does. He's got Omni. So he knows exactly where that Fatboy is, just choosing not to engage at this time with his units. Maybe wants to try and draw them out a little bit further away. Alright, checking on that nuke with that Stick at, and how far is it? Well, that's actually pretty damn close to launching. The question is, where is it going to launch? Do we have anywhere that does not have SMD? No, there's SMD there for Omni, and it's loaded. We have SMD for Ninrai, that's loaded. Battery has not got a loaded SMD, it's only partly done. He could be a target, and down the bottom we have almost loaded SMD for Desert, but it's going to be a while unless he throws all his assistants on. He must be stalling mass because that is not moving at all. Okay, I'm going to have to keep an eye for that nuke. Never mind, he's gone and used it, and what's he gone for? Massive army here could be a target. These they're aircraft, they can just move. Where's it going? It's going out to the left. This could be a waste because I know that was loaded, wasn't it? Yes. The SMD from Omni is loaded, and the nuke is going straight towards his base, so that is probably going to get shot down for 0 effect. Maybe he could into this right here. There's like a bunch of factories, a bunch of T2 mechs, some point first and all sorts of things, but there we go. Nuke gets shot down, and that was easily loaded in time. GC from Omni, so he's now got 1 Fatboy, 1 Galactic Colossus, and that is a good mixture to try and take out this. The T2 arty is on the wrong side of the shields, and that Fatboy can actually get some damage done without getting into range. Let's just see how far they actually go. Look at that. It is edging. It is edging around those T2 arties. Does not want a piece of those. Stick brings back the chickens, wants them not to be picked off at range. The extra damage. But two fat boys, three fat boys in the mid from Soviet, supported by a giant swarm of Percivals. How many Percies has he got? Because just shy of 40 Percivals alone is a problem. He's got three fat boys to back them up. To counter that, we have 26 Percivals for Ninrai. And there was a fat boy in there somewhere, or did it die? There's got a fat boy down there. And he's going to move that fat boy up and maybe try and get something done. Supporting him, there's a bunch of air on the ground, some T3 units. Looks like a T2 AIDA going up on there, some T1 AIDA coming to spam through. But this is where the current fight is going to be. This fat boy has to be very, very wily about its initiation into combat. Goes the wrong way, it can find itself getting withered by three fat boy fire at once. Instead, just gonna tackle at range, doing what I can, and trying to kill a single T1 arty. Well, I hope that feels special. Let's go hammered by this thing. Alright, lots of fat boy fire. Titan is running for his life, which ends in a heartbeat. There's just so much fire coming down. This is great by team number one. Fatboy fire hammering down on the Percivals, just doing the extra free damage while stays out of range of these main guns there. Fatboy up here trying to do extra things, and there is a GC there as well. Of course, plenty of Harbingers. How many has he got? Well, he's got 35 Harbingers, but more importantly, he's got 20 sniper bots, and they can start doing some serious damage to the Athotas. Fatboy fire, sniper fire, and the health is just going to evaporate on other things. I'm hearing another chicken somewhere. Here it is. Chicken down the middle, and that is out from Fergus. Instead, that is going to shoot away these Harbingers belonging to Desert Wolf. Feels like he's trying to do some kind of push, but has decided that, yeah, no, I'm going to walk away now. Going to maybe drag them back towards his little firebase over here. Got plenty of T2 artillery in the mix and a bunch of T2 PD. If that Yothota keeps on chasing, is going to be in trouble. A couple of siege tanks here from Metri, just chilling. Just chilling. Ain't nothing. That's all she wrote. Alright. That boys in the mid from Soviet, and they are doing a gradual move forwards. They are just claiming more and more ground as they go. Some T280 has been spammed up here by Ninrai. Needs it to try and slow it down. This is commander there actually. And now he has to stick with that fat boy. It has to try and help fight back. Although if it can dodge a wee bit, it could do some extra damage on there. Take the shields down. The T2 artillery could have everything at the moment. These ones are distracted by the mass extractor. Actually gives this fat boy a chance to move away. Just exactly what it needs. It can throw some fire back. The shields are basically no good against fat boys. They just drop so much. There's so much DPS coming out of those long range guns, and the shields get turned into scrap. But combination of the T2 artillery and the fat boy from Ninrai going to drop the shields on this fat boy, and he has opted to fall back rather than lose it. It's an interesting choice and one he is allowed to make. Look at the T1 spam coming out. So many Lobos. Problem is, they will just get carved by fat boys. Another nuke out, and where's it going this time? Going here. Why not? If this lands good, it's going to kill off a bit of eco, and actually could catch a large amount of these Othams. He has 42 Othams sitting here. Let's just see how many he has left after the nuke lands. There's the nuke. There's the landing. 14 Othams. He just lost 2/3 of them. So we'll give that a solid 8 out of 10 for the landing. 3 T3 mixes and about 28 Othams. Not good times. And now the fat boys can push in that direction, because there was some T2 artillery there as well, which was helping to repel the fat boys, just keep them at bay. But that is gone. Of course, has left a nice big wide open gap for them to cruise on through. Add to that the Percivals helping out right behind them, and yep, ASF on the ground. Desert Wolf has actually kind of pointed that out. Hey, Metri, your ASFs are going to be in range of fat boys soon. Losing fat boys, losing ASFs to fat boys. This is not good. There we go. They have lifted off the ground. Good times. Okay, so down here, still 3 fat boys, and is that a power stall? All 3 have lost their shields. Is that a power stall from Soviet? Only one shield comes back on, so the others, no, they've had their shields depleted by something. It's a very strange thing to lose. Donut on the way for Soviet, that's going to be a problem. TML is the yell from Ninrai, trying to get something going on there. There are a few T2IDs over this direction. They are lobbing their shells back off here, and is that, no, it's a power stall once again. But if the T2ID can land some hits on these guys while the shields are down, it's going to be very, very useful. There's a 1, there's a 2. Down into the other goes that one, and more T2ID over here, so that should hopefully push them away. Fatboy tunes up again from Ninrai. He's going to start lobbing his shells against this one. There should be a kill, one would think. Excellent amounts of damage coming down there. Can't really avoid it. All you can do is run away. Down into the red, flips back into the yellow, but won't be too long before it's dead. One more volley, and boom. Another nuke out from... It's actually a pretty damn fast nuke, and a T3 artillery, so Stick hasn't been idle. He hasn't just sat on the nuke, he's also grabbed a T3 artillery, and this time the nuke is going... Where's that going? I think it might be going for this forward base, because there's a ton of artillery here as well. That's definitely a Fatboy denial kind of factor, plus a bunch of T2 point events. And yes, it looks like the nuke is beelining for that section. That is going to be an issue. Second Fatboy down the middle, so Soviet finds himself with one Fatboy left, and it's damage to that. Nuke is landing, and we're saying goodbye to this little section of everything. Just a mass extractor left with a couple of storage and a flag. There was a whole lot there, but it is all gone. Alright, in the middle, and well, from being in a promising position with 3 Fatboys, Soviet has lost them all. 3 dead Fatboys right there. And this is actually going to give Ninrai a chance to push on back. He's got his own Fatboy wishing to start lobbing plenty of damage against these Percivals. Checking out the top section, and well, Stick is just content to hold this spot. His commander still there? His commander is still there. That's a dangerous thing to do. He's got 45,000 health, so it's going to take a bit to kill him, but still. Pushing down this way, and he's sending his lightning tanks up the front to try and deal with Harbingers. That's never going to work. Lightning tanks versus Harbingers goes well for the Harbingers. T280 flies on down, but look at the damage just coming out from this. A nice wall of Harbingers killing these things off from the edge. It is a terrible position. I'm hearing chicken fire. And there's a GC down here. This is carving up. Well, there goes the T3 HQ for Soviet. So again, no more Aeon tech for him. And this direction is a counter push coming down. There's the chicken from Fergus. It is moving towards the bottom, and that is an issue for Desert because his GC is over here currently swapping out that. I hear strats. Where are the strats? They're going up here. They're trying to kill off Stick. Stick's a cup to the face. 33,000 health. Very healthy. But those strats are very much not. Needs to get himself under shields. They still could take a bunch of damage. Look at that regen though. Restoration field. Regen field. And wait for the strats. All the strats have carried on. They look like they decided to try to go for something else. They don't make it through though. Oh, for just 1 or 2 more strat bombers, that nuke would have been dead. Unfortunately, enough to take down the shields, but not enough to do any damage. Just needed a couple more. In the meantime though, what is that T3 RT doing to other people's bases? Well, that's what it's doing. Omni is without his T3 HQ and he's got nothing left to build. There's just all sorts of damage. The SMD's still there of course, but no good. The Donut has come out from Soviet and he's trying to kill off the Fatboy. It looks like he's decided to abandon that idea and run away. Maybe he wants to try and get an air win here. These ASFs do come up from Metro. They take down the Donut, but that is actually an air win for him. For Soviet, he has used the Donut as a distraction, and he has claimed the air. Even as things are going, there we go. The GC from Desert is right all up in this proxy base of Soviets, which used to be Quasars, and it is killing off basically everything and good to go. The problem, though, is in his base. He has a chicken bearing down on it, and he's trying to spam up a GC here, but it's going to take too long to finish. And with a chicken on your doorstep, It is not good times. Shields there, strats coming over here to try and help. Going to run into a bunch of flak, going to be a problem. T3 units come down from Matry to try and support. They needed to get there beforehand. I hear and I see an Owasso. The GC needs to get on the move, start keep doing some extras, but down the bottom left corner, this is the biggest problem. I mean, the GC's going up pretty darn fast, but I don't know if it's going to finish anywhere. It's Desiscom. Is he contained within this mix of units? There or SACUs, T3 units, more SACUs, and it's not going to finish that. It's got to rot your socks. It was so close to getting done. But no more. And there's not enough build power left to finish that off. That is not going to complete. And that is pretty much the end of the line for Desert's base. Chicken in the middle of it stomps its way onto the HQ. And this GC has bomber problems in the form of an Owasso. And now just everything in the base. Where is Desiscom? Who's up here? It's quite safe in Matry's base. So he's all good. Alright, along come the Othams. Another nuke is out from... Oh, this time it's from Soviet. He's built his own nuke launcher. And what's he going for? That's a good question, isn't it? This GC is still very much alive. It's got a lot of regen to its name, and it's going to be able to kill a whole bunch more stuff here. That's going to be great. The nuke is... maybe it's going to this blob of units here. That could be quite a catch if it does land. It is going to land. They're all going to die. Desert Wolf does finish off a GC. It's really hurt. But it is finished. There goes that blob. The GC down here is also doing extra damage. It has taken a lot of hits from that. Not lost though, but it is getting a bunch of stuff done. Needs to stop, turn and pick a target. Right now it's just walking without shooting because its target is behind it. So it can't actually kill what it's going for. Picking out the T3 mixes. Yeah, maybe I would have gone for the HQ. I don't know. Looks like he's just wanting to try and kill off the ego though. Now the T3 mix up here he might be targeting. We'll see how that goes, but there's stress over here, there's broadswords. It's taking a massive hammering now. And indeed, I don't think it's going to get a huge much more done. Yeah, it's got 10,000 health, but look at it just disappear. Broadswords, strap bombers, and doesn't quite get the fusion reactor. 750 health left on that, very close, but no, I'd say the GC got a lot done. It's cleaned out all of this and a bit of that. That's pretty darn useful if you ask me. A large number of strats are prepped up from Matry. They will be looking for a target. Do they know that they exist is the question. What's going on up here? It's a donut. Donut overhead from Omni. He is trying to find... I think he's trying to find Stick. Where's Stick's gone? I think he's actually evacuated by now. The donut crash lands and takes out so much. There was a whole lot of T2RD there, but it's all gone now. That turns us into a Fatboy delight, but even so, there's still an Owasso overhead. Yes, Stick has brought us comm all the way back here. Plenty of pointy fingers, but he's a chunky comm anyway. And this Fatboy is about to have a terrible time. Owasso over here can start dumping his payload on it. There's being rushed by a bunch of T3 units. Not good times. Oh, the strats have been spotted. Oh, yes. So I thought for a moment that these assets were about to turn away, but the strats have been found. And they are going to get brutalized by the air wing of Soviets. So there we go. He's going to swing back around as soon as he realizes those are there. And the strats are done. They could have gotten up this way. They could have actually gotten through here. And they may have very well been able to kill something of use because there's not much. There's a few SAMs, but they could have absolutely gotten through and killed off a bunch of things. But right now it's the Owasso show. 20 kills now, 113 kills. The way up here is dead from the rush pushing from the stick. Nuke is going for the top left corner because there's some eco up there, of course. There's some PGs, there's some mixers, there's that being built. There's a Control K out from Ninrai, or he died either way. I'm not sure, but his base is in all but tatters. Scott Percival's walking on through, destroying stuff. The Owasso's still loitering around, killing off units. And now, it is Matry getting hammered by broadswords, not even bothering to stand on the shields. He's just going to stand there and take it. And he is out of the game. Last person standing. Even the Omni, he's all the way up here with the scum. And at the moment, yep, they are now heading down to go for Disable. So Omni has Control Cade out, his comms still alive, but he's bowed out of the game, which leaves just Desert. And Desert is taking some broadsword fire, although there's some ACFs around, keeping him alive for now. Not going to matter much when that Wasser discovers where he is and decides to go for a jaunt to kill a commander. Although along come more broadswords, they're going to go for the combat as well. And need a towel for the sweat, says Soviet. Wow. And not going to disagree there. I think Soviet has carried this for team number 2. No if, buts or maybes. Desert walks back here. Is going to get himself caught out by a bunch of explosions. Stays defeated by Control K, but what he was actually killed by was an exploding T3 Pigeon that he happened to be standing beside. The Awasa did the damage, but the Pigeon is what killed him. Don't worry about the T-Sync.